iFILM, London. iFILM, London.
This is Coogan Cassius Fry from London. We're at the Nottingham Arena for the Kell, Froch, Mack, Tony Bellew and Roberto Bellante press conference. With me I've got promoter for Matchroom Boxing, HEARN. How are you, Eddie?
Very well, Coogan. How are you?
Very well. Carl, did you find he was a little bit rattled in that press conference from stuff that had happened previously, not necessarily in the press conference, but comments that Mack had made?
I think he didn't expect Mack or his trainer to be so confident and to be so forthright in terms of their quotes about Carl, and I think it was good. I think it got Carl's blood pressure going. I think a couple of times I saw him clench his fist, and that's good. That's what you want. You want to know that it's nearly fight time, and it's not going to be an easy night. He's expected to win. He should win, but he's up against a guy who's talented and he's coming to win a world title. So it's not a formality, and I think that was good because it got Carl's juices going, and I think that's always good.
Some things have been made of Mack's lack of talking, and don't know what else to say about it. But he said to me in the interview I just had with him that he just doesn't do a lot of talking, and some fighters are like that and generally just wait till fight night and see what they can do then.
Yeah, it's probably a little bit difficult for an opponent and a training team sort of work him out because he seems very confident, doesn't say a lot. But then again, when someone comes in and shouts their mouth off, sometimes there's a lot of hot air, so don't take too much into it. He's confident, he thinks he can win. Percy, his trainer and manager, they think he can win. And like any fighter, every fighter believes they can win the fight. So, he's going to go in there to win. He's just standing on a piece of canvas with a bit of rope around him, trying to take a world title off another guy. And if he can do that, he's going to make a lot of money and realise his dream. So he's going to be dangerous, and he's got talent. So Carl can't take it lightly. We've got so many great things on the horizon for Carl, but I'll take care of that. And he's got to take care of Saturday night.
Lucien Bouts came through his fight a couple of weeks ago. So are we any nearer to knowing whether they will take a rematch next year at some point?
Yeah, well, contractually, they've got a rematch. If they want a rematch, then it has to happen next, and it has to happen in March. If they don't, then they're going to miss the opportunity. We're ready for the fight. We think Lucien should take the fight. It was contracted. He didn't look great in his last performance, but then again, it was a comeback fight. It was, what we said earlier about it was like someone who'd had a really bad car crash and getting behind the wheel for the first time. That's what it was like, and that's how difficult it is mentally to overcome a defeat like that. But Boute's a good fighter. He's a great fighter. And he'll come back, and a fight in Montreal would be competitive. I see the same result, but we're up for it, and we said we were going to do it. We'll do it. But if they want it, they need to take it now.
I believe there's 97 tickets left for this fight.
Is it? You know more than me. Yeah,
there is 97.
Yeah, it's like a lot of the more expensive ones and a few scattered 80s and stuff like that. All the other stuff sold out. But again, we'll have nearly 10,000 here on Saturday night. And as a promoter, and of course as a fighter, this is what you live for. You live for those nights where you walk out and you can't see an empty seat in the house. You live for those nights where your fighter walks out and your hairs on the back of your neck are standing up because you're so proud you filled the arena. You're so proud for the fighter because you know how he's feeling, and especially the younger guys. Kell Yafai, Scotty Cardle, they're going to be live on Sky first of all. For them walking out in front of 10,000 people, it's what dreams are made of. And also on the show, obviously Martin Ward, Callum Smith, he's going to be making his debut as well. So just great times for Matchroom fighters at the moment. Every fight we have, every show we have is in packed out stadiums, and this is what we want to deliver. And Saturday night again is going to be a great atmosphere, and I think the fans are really going to get behind the British guys, particularly Carl and of course Tony Bellew, and really create that special atmosphere in the arena.
Tony Bellew fights for the WBC silver title. So just to clarify, obviously he comes through this fight, potentially another final eliminator, and then he could likely have a world title shot. Is that what's going to happen?
Yeah, I mean, listen, a lot's made of, we was having a joke earlier, is this an eliminator for an eliminator? This is a fight against a WBC number 5. Tony is, I think, 10 or 11 or something like that. This is for the silver title, a title vacated by Michael Kessler. If Tony wins this, he's going to go into the top 5 of the WBC. Then we'll be pushing them for a final eliminator to get in that mandatory position. Exactly the same route we took with Kell, Brook. Exactly the same route we want to take with Tony Bellew. So, this is an important fight. This Bellante is ahead of Tony in every governing body. He's ranked much higher than him. It's a fight Tony's expected to win, but again, this is a fight where I think Bellante's undefeated in 26, 27. You saw him at the face-off, looks tough, looks up for it. I think that's going to be a really, really explosive fight. And Tony needs to come through that, and hopefully we look at a shot against Chad Dawson, and get in that mandatory position for the WBC title.
Obviously, just been announced yesterday that Kell Brook will travel to America to fight Devon Alexander on the 19th of January. Venue to be confirmed. When will you know this venue?
Well, we've agreed terms with Golden Boy, and now we move on to the contractual stage. A few bits and pieces to sort out, nothing major. Don't envisage any problem. January the 19th, we're looking at probably Las Vegas or New York. The likely scenario is Las Vegas, which sounds good to us. January the 19th, I'm sure you wouldn't mind a trip to Vegas. But a great fight, you know, this is the kind of fight that really is your defining moment for someone like Kell, Brook, to go over there and to beat a great fighter like Devon Alexander. You know, these guys, Devon Alexander's 25 years old, Kell, Brook is 26-year-old, two are the very best welterweights in the world. This is what boxing's all about. And for Kell to go over there into his backyard, do a job, and get that world title would just elevate him into a mega star of boxing, and that's what he wants to be. And we believe he's good enough to go over there and do a job on Devon Alexander. So just that's going to be a great night, and I can, you know, already feel, you know, the emotion and the feelings of victory out there for Kell, because again, victory out there in that kind of fight, live on Showtime, live on Sky Sports, just propels you to a new level.
Was the fight ever close to being held in Sheffield at all, or not?
Yeah, listen, we made Devon Alexander 3 offers well in excess of 7 figures. He didn't accept, he wasn't interested in the slightest. We had the opportunity to go to purse bid. It was a 75-25 split in the purse bid, so it would have been very difficult for us to win that bid. They made us a great offer. And what we didn't want to do is get in a situation where Devon Alexander vacates the belt and we end up fighting a lesser fighter for that world title. We don't want to be a paper champion. We don't want people to look at us upon we were gifted a title. Kell wants to go over there into the lion's den and grab it from him. That's how you become great in a sport. That's how you make a name for yourself across the world. So that's what he wants to do, and that's what he's chosen to do. So props to Kell, Brook. People said, oh, they won't take the fight. Of course we're going to take the fight. This is what we've built up for 15 months to get into this mandatory position. And now we're ready, and it's up to him to do the business.
All right, just finally, just want to touch on prize fighter a couple of weeks ago. Some comments have been made about some of the refereeing decisions, and not the referee's decisions, sorry, the judges' decisions in the fight. I know I spoke to you straight after the fight and you made it clear that you thought a couple of the fights were, you know, should have been scored differently, but some things being made after this. What have you got to say about that?
I thought a lot of the decisions were close. I felt, like I said to you in the post-show interview, I felt Larry Eckendale beat Craig McEwen on the night. When I watched it back on TV, I thought McEwen just nicked it. Could have gone either way. I felt Toms beat Carslaw. But you're talking about 3-round fights. You know, there might be a round where you think someone's won, I think the other one. I mean, it's so easy to get that variance, and it's tough to score over 3 rounds. So, listen, people who say, oh, do you think the judges are up to something, or this is corrupt, that's corrupt, I think you've been watching too many films. You know, this is boxing, this is a professional sport, and really, you know, you've got to ask yourself, why, you know, people say, oh, the Toms against Carslaw, why would a judge want to favour Carslaw, a Scottish guy who sold 5 tickets, over Toms who sold 200 tickets? I mean, it's all baloney. You know, sometimes judges get it wrong, sometimes they get it right, and sometimes they've just got different opinions to you and me. But it doesn't mean if you think that Tom's won the fight that you're right, and it doesn't mean if I think that Eckendale won the fight that I'm right.
Subjective.
Of course it's subjective, and people say, oh, well, he threw more punches. Doesn't matter, he could have thrown more punches in 1 round. When I was there in the arena, I felt that Larry won the fight. On TV, I felt that McEwen won the fight. I thought that Toms won the fight against Carslaw. I actually thought that Nav Mansouri beat Carruthers. But when I watched it back on TV, I felt Carruthers won. So it's a 3-round fight, and very easy to score either way.
So you don't think, do you think in general that refereeing and judging is somewhat of a problem in this country or not?
It's not a problem, it's a tough job. I mean, you know, sometimes you get it wrong, sometimes you get it right, but you're in the public spotlight, you're under the pressure of the TV camera, and when you do get it wrong, just like a football referee, you're going to get scrutinised. But you have to be accountable for your actions. You know, and if you get a mistake wrong, then it's just like being in a normal job. You know, if someone works for me or makes a mistake, or I make a mistake, I should be punished. You know, just like someone who works for me. It doesn't mean, you know, taking outside and giving a lashing. It just means talk to and explain what's happened, explain the situation. But you're accountable in every job that you do. Do you know what I'm saying? So, like, if a referee makes a mistake, he's got to go before the board. If a judge has made a mistake, he'll go before the board, and it's up to the board to decide. But people have got to understand, refereeing is a very, very difficult job. You're responsible for another man's health in that ring. And if you can sometimes see things in a fight that other people don't see, and, you know, we saw the incident with Enzo Maccarinelli at the weekend, I felt that was a big mistake by John Lewis. But he's in the ring, he sees different things, and he's got to be accountable for his actions. So if the board feels that he's made a bad decision, I feel that he made a bad decision, and probably looking back, he feels he made a bad decision. People make mistakes. I make probably, who was it, someone said, if I haven't made 100 mistakes by lunchtime, I haven't woken up yet, or something like that. But everybody makes mistakes. But when you're in that kind of job, you've got to be accountable for them.
Well, I'm glad I don't work for you, because I wouldn't fancy a lashing. A lashing, Eddie? Edward Hearn, a lashing.
Oh boy, you probably would, you dirty bugger.
All right, listen, thank you very much for talking to iFILM London. There'll be the weigh-in next come Friday, and then Saturday night. Hold on.
And good luck for the dark horse. Is that
Iron Horse.
Iron Horse, James Helder, in his fight on Friday night. Good luck, Mr. Helder.
You won't be here, but, you're there in the spirit.
I'll be there in spirit. Will anyone be there?
Yeah, he sold a few tickets for it.
I've heard he's
Big ticket seller.
He's a massive ticket seller. Prize fighter. If he comes through, we'll get him on the next prize fight.
All right, okay, no problem. This is Cogan Cassius with Eddie Hearn for iFILM London. Thank you very much.